الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه وأزواجه أجمعين أما بعد. A few years ago, a number of Arab countries established political relations with the State of Israel, peace accords. This has caused a discussion among Arabs and Muslims, and today I wanted to talk about this important topic. They say that the number of Muslim countries in the world that has at least a simple majority of Muslims exceeds 50. There are more than 50 countries in the world that have a majority of Muslims. So, let's talk. Who started among the Arabs and Muslims to have normal relations with the State of Israel? Muslims. I know that so many Muslims know these things. So let's be real here. Turkey, 1949, 1949, they started diplomatic, economic, any other relations with the State of Israel until today. In fact, the Muslim country that has the deepest, longest economic, security, intelligence, tourism relationship with the State of Israel has been, still is, Turkey. Turkey is a major Muslim country with a large economy, and it has been open for the Jews since 1949 until today. Sometimes the relationship becomes strained, but they still have relationship. They have embassies, Turkish embassy in Israel and Israeli embassy in Turkey. 1949. I know today some of those who are called Islamist parties, those political people who carry the banner of Islam, they have praise for Turkey and its president and regime and what they're doing and not doing. Turkey was, still is, the country with the deepest relations of all kinds with the State of Israel since 1949. I'll give you some other countries. I made a simple search. I didn't really waste time on this. I'll say why in a minute, inshallah. Chad, 1961, Muslim country. Gambia, 1965. Egypt, 1978. Egypt is the most important Arab country because of its history supporting Islam and Muslims, because of its location, population, and the Jews and the West wanted so very badly to take Egypt out of the fight with the Jews. 1973, the Jews, who at the time so many Arabs and Muslims thought they were superpower, they realized that they cannot afford fighting Egypt again. Even though 1973 didn't end well for Egypt, started very well, didn't end well. But the Jews realized that we can't do this again. They tried their extremely best efforts. They made jihad to take Egypt out. Egypt has a special place in the hearts of the Arabs and Muslims because of its history, support for Islam and Muslims, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make things better for them. 1978, Anwar Sadat made his peace deal with the state of Israel, recognizing the state of Israel. In fact, recognizing that Israel controls the West Bank and Gaza. The Jews had Sinai, it's big area, bigger than Palestine. They gladly gave it back to Egypt because they took it over in 1967 in return for Egypt being out of the war. They were very happy. So 1978, they made the peace deal and recognized the state of Israel, economic, political, all kinds of ties until today. Until today, nothing happened. Nothing changed, including under Mohammed Morsi, nothing changed. They have an embassy for the Jews in Egypt, embassy for the Egyptians in Israel. And the economic ties are not as important to Israel as with Turkey. Turkey is a very important Muslim country. The economy, the size of the military, and the access the Jews had there is greater. It's a larger economy, obvious. Egypt was taken out of the formula 1978. They even recognized that the Jews have dominance over the West Bank and Gaza. And Sadat claimed that he had a deal within his deal to give some kind of autonomy to the West Bank and Gaza. The Arabs, the Palestinians rejected that, of course, and let's go on. So Egypt was out. Albania, the relationship was re-established in 1991, Albania. Kazakhstan, 1992. Tajikistan, 1992. Azerbaijan, 1992. Kyrgyzstan, 1992. Turkmenistan, 1993. Eritrea, 1993. Eritrea is partly Arab. All these Muslim countries established relations, normalizing their relations with the state of, let me say, Israel. And with that comes economic ties, intelligence cooperation at a minimum. So they have had official presence in these countries since the years I mentioned. Maybe the years are not exact. I tried to find the years. Some of them are really very suspicious. I tried to find which year they started. It's not easy. So these are the numbers that I found on the net. I didn't spend a lot of time on it. Eritrea, 1993. So these countries had relations and still have relations with Israel. 1993, Oslo, Arafat, the PLO. They made a peace deal with the state of Israel, recognizing the state of Israel and seeking some kind of special deal for the West Bank and Gaza Palestinian Authority. 1993, Oslo, Arafat. Jordan followed the Palestinian Authority in 1994. Jordan also has a special relation with Palestine. More than half of the population of Jordan is Palestinian brothers and sisters throughout history, like the relations between all Arabs and Muslims throughout history. 1994, they made the peace deal, which effectively ended the not so strong official designation for Jordan as the protectorate of the West Bank. That ended 1967. They still officially called the protectors of Al-Aqsa, and we know how that is going, has been going. So this is 1994, Jordan. Uzbekistan, 1995. Bosnia, 1997. Here comes some few interesting names. Before I go through this part of the list, let's go to the end. Senegal, I don't know when. And we mentioned Bosnia. So we mentioned Arab and Muslim countries. 1978, 1949, Turkey. 1978, Egypt. 1993, PLO, the Palestinians. They made a peace deal with the state of Israel. Should I keep saying this? They call it the state of Israel. I've seen it with my eyes in some Arab countries. Safarat Dawlat Israel. Embassy of the state of Israel. So 1993 PLO, 1994 Jordan, and Al Jazeera. No, Al Jazeera is not a country, is it? Wherever I went in the Arab countries, if they allow it, Al Jazeera, Al Jazeera, Al Jazeera, Al Jazeera. Qatar, according to its own Minister of Foreign Affairs, who said, or was it the Prime Minister at the time? Whatever. What's the difference? He said, I'm thinking it's a foreign minister. We were the first country to normalize relations with Israel in 1997. We engaged in economic relations with Israel. After that, the Prime Minister of Israel visited us. And then there were other diplomatic visits. Qatar. Jazeera, standing with the Palestinians, all the propaganda, all that stuff. They had the Jews come and play all kinds of sports. And they lowered the Israeli flag down with the Israeli national anthem. Qatar. Sudan, 20 to 23. Allah knows what the situation of Sudan now is with the may Allah help the Muslims in Sudan. This war that's between them. Most of the Sudanese have no idea who's fighting whom for what reason, but Allah understand. Inshallah, the side that is helping the Jews will be defeated in Sudan. Now, what about the Arab countries? I'm going to leave the one that is the focus of my video today to the last. Bahrain, Maghrib, Oman. Bahrain, Maghrib, Oman. So people became angry at these countries. Emirat is the last one. They were very angry with the Emirat. They were angry with these countries. I'm looking at the list here. It's way down. Especially the Emirat. Bahrain, Maghrib, and Oman. One official of Morocco said, we've had relationship with the Jews for a long time. Just let's make it official. I'm rephrasing. And this is important because we know that Arab and Muslim countries have had relationship with the Jews of all kinds all the time. Muslims. I'm a Palestinian from the West Bank, the city of Jenin, Jalal Abualrub, Jalalabualrub. Our family is one of the largest families in the West Bank. Grew up in Kuwait, and we know that the Arabs and Muslims have had all kinds of relationship with the Jews. Just because a country said, well, we have had relationship with them, really, let's make it official, khalas, have an embassy, send an ambassador, sit there in Tel Aviv and watch what's going on there. Really nice. Maybe they're watching Jazeera in Tel Aviv and how the Jazeera, stands with the Palestinians of all kinds of stuff and everything. See? We know that these countries have had relationships with the Jews of all kinds. We know that. I grew up knowing this fact. In fact, until today, I think, and Allah knows best, it's Kuwait is the only country who refused to have any kind of relationship with the Jews. The Emir who died, rahimahullah, Nawaf, said, even if we were the last Arab country, we will not make a peace deal with the Jews until they give the Palestinians their rights. But we know those Arab and Muslim countries, they always have had relationships. Some areas less, some of them, the Jews were not even interested before. But they have had relationship. If you have relationship with the West, then you have relationship with the Jews, whether you like it or not. And they have had relationships with the Jews. So my question is, why is it that Bahrain, Maghrib, and Oman, and the Emirates were the target of the most vicious anger that started in many Muslim and Arab countries? Why? Like ليش? ليشون? Why? What about all the other countries? These countries, do you think they care a lot about the sentiment of their people? I have no doubt, and I hope that, inshallah, it is the truth, that the vast majority of Arabs and Muslims do not want to have relations with the Jews in any way or form. They stand with the Palestinian Muslims because Palestine is a Muslim land, Al-Aqsa. They have it in their heart. But remember my video, Muslim rulers do not rule by what Allah has revealed. Albani, Ibn Uthaymeen. It's true. And they don't care a lot about the sentiment of their people in anything, really. They do things, people angry, not angry, so what? So, Al-Imarat in specific. Why are people angry at the Imarat, UAE? Now, Islamically, and we mentioned this in our book, here it is, the third edition of Holy Wars, Crusades, Jihad. The third edition of Holy Wars, Crusades, Jihad. 400 pages of knowledge. Comparison between the rulings of warfare between the Old Testament, the New Testament, and the Quran and Sunnah, and many other issues, including we have dedicated a part of this book to Gaza and the West Bank, the rest of Palestine. All of Palestine belongs to Muslims. We'll come back to Muslims, inshallah. We see it in our lifetime, Allah knows. But we have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It happened before, it will happen again, I promise. But this book is very important, brothers and sisters. There's so much information here. And historical incidents, the behavior of the Jews and Christians throughout history with regards to warfare, how the conflict in Palestine started, and many other topics. This book is on our website, islamlife.com. Inshallah ta'ala, the link will be below this video. Buy the book. Buy it. The money goes to our charity organization, Medina Center, Madinah Center, since 2005, and so we can do other books. Read the book. Buy it. Important. 400 pages of knowledge, history, religion, even poems. Allah musta'an. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to benefit Muslims from this book. So why the Emirates? Why? I have seen demonstrations with some people who seem to be Palestinians, could be in the West Bank, could be in Jordan, very angry demonstrations about the Emirates, this and that. And they were very abusive. One of them I rejected immediately and said, Subhanallah, هذا بهتان عظيم. They said Ibn al-Haram about Muhammad bin Zayed, son of Zina. No, he isn't. You were there? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? People, have some shame. His mother is dead. May Allah forgive her. He made something you didn't like. Why attack his mother? But I am, what's the word? Confused. I'm not naturally confused, by the way. It's just a figure of speech. In Jordan, for example, where they had demonstrations, I thought that they were very angry. They had demonstrations. Take a taxi, tell them, take me to the embassy of the state of Israel. I don't need to say this again. The taxi will take you just before that, because then the police will stop you. Where do you think you're going? And you're demonstrating against the Emirates, starting a deal, peace deal or something with the state of Israel. What for? Can you take these people and go to the embassy of Israel in that area, in your own country? The Palestinians in the West Bank, who were very angry, are you serious? Arafat made a peace deal. How come? Why the Emirates can't? I mean, Arafat made a peace deal with the Jews. Yeah, Muslims. Yeah, Muslims. Yeah, Arabs. The Palestinians. The Emirates is the one that's bothering you? What about all these other countries? The Emirates is the one that's bothering you? It's because so many Muslims are led by propaganda. Now, let's talk. In this book, we mentioned that it is up to the leader of Muslim countries and areas, if they decide that a peace deal is necessary for the benefit of their people, that they can make a peace deal with non-Muslims. This is the ruling. If you're not going to Morocco to demonstrate about the king there, and I wish you don't, because demonstration is not an Islamic way. Demonstration in Maghrib is not going to end up very nicely for you against the king. Why the Emirates only? Why the Emirates only? Al-Imarat. I had a video before about a sickness. I mentioned we have 50 more countries, simple majority Muslim, 50 or more. And many people wake up during the morning, first thing they think about, Saudi. Saudi, 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 Saudi. Lately, Mohammed bin Salman, Mohammed bin Salman, Mohammed bin Salman. I was talking to somebody who was from some Muslim country that is in really bad shape. I told him, so you wake up in the morning, the only thing on your mind is Saudi, Saudi, Saudi. What about your country? I've been to your country. I've been to your country. So I think Saudi is in a much better situation. And I ask Allah to help all Muslims everywhere. Is that out of 50? That's all what you think about? Out of these 24, 25 onwards, some things I couldn't find. The Emirates is the one that's bothering you. Of course, the leader of the Emirates, just like the leader of Egypt, just like Arafat, just like Erdogan, just like Qatar, just like, well, can go Bahrain, can go Morocco, Oman, Sultan. This issue, having peace with the country, is up to their discretion. However, they are required to care for the sentiment of their people. I mean, pressuring Muslims and Arabs so much, too much. Come on, you're not afraid that people will explode? So technically, it's their right. I have a big problem with the Palestinians who, for example, Hamas negotiates with the Jews all the time, before and after October 7th. Those who live in Jordan, angry with the Emirates. Those who live in the West Bank, angry with the Emirates. Two places that have had peace deals with the Jews. You're angry with the other one? What for? Like, what kind of thinking thought that you have here? It's going on. Many countries are the Emirates. 50 more countries are Saudi. Well, we've known since I was young, something fell, don't worry about it. We've known since I was very young, wallah, that the Arabs and Muslims, they do not want to fight the Jews, because they know that fighting the Jews means fighting the West, and they don't want to fight the West. But to be a hypocrite, that you target just one country out of all of these for doing what the other countries are doing, why? Well, the leader of the Emirates, it's his responsibility to have a peace deal with other countries. That doesn't mean that it's going to be beneficial for Muslims, actually, but this is their authority. And if you're angry, you're a Palestinian, West Bank, Arafat made a deal with the Jews. The Emirates is the one that's sitting on your heart. Sitting on your heart. I mean, come on. But these peace deals now, all of them, I have a problem with them. Like, which of these countries I mentioned actually had war with the Jews to have a peace treaty? Emirat, Qatar. I know Al-Maghrib participated, especially in 1973. Kuwait sent a number of soldiers in 1973. Some of them died. So 1967, may Allah grant mercy to all the Muslims who died fighting the Jews. But how can you have a peace deal with a country you never fought? You might say, well, they didn't call it a peace deal. They may call it, I don't know, what are you going to call it? Whatever you want to call it. But these countries, most of them did not fight the Jews. So having a peace deal is, I don't know. Now, the point that I want to make that's very clear started in 1978. Sadat, without consulting the Palestinians, they were angry, made a peace deal on behalf of the Palestinians and wanted to sell that peace deal to the Palestinians. They told him, we're not benefiting from this. Then he got angry with them. I was in Egypt, by the way, when at the time Sadat didn't allow Palestinians to come into Egypt. And I think 1 or 2 students were accepted in Egyptian universities because either we agree with my peace deal or I don't want you here. They say the Emirates did the same. You're angry about that? Might be angry with other countries. I mean, they are making peace deals with the Jews without consulting their people, which is required in the Quran. Now, the leader decides, I'm going to do it anyway. It will be his responsibility with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't call for rebellion, but I don't have to accept your actions because we are not blind followers of anything or anyone, any human being. We don't follow anyone. So, if you don't consult with me about my land, then I don't have to follow what you have to say. Now, this is the point that is very important. See, the Palestinians who rejected what the Emirates did became under attack by all kinds of people. Not only Palestinians, of course, but I mentioned them in specific, who did not agree with the Emirates or Bahrain or Oman or Maghreb having peace deals with the Jews, were under attack by many in the media who are supporting these countries. And some of them pretend to be Salafis. I have 3 people, my targets, 3. One of them in the UK, I already have a video about him, who made takfir on the Palestinians. Another one in Saudi, another one in the Emirates. Maybe I'll have time, maybe I won't have time, Allah knows, but they're attacking the Palestinians. Did you consult with the Palestinians? It's their land, it's not your land. It's not Mohammed bin Zayed's land. It's not Sadat's land. It's not the King of Morocco's land. Okay? They are the ones who are losing their lives and their lands. Did you consult with them to see if they're happy about this deal? And what is it, the deal? Like the Jews are going to stop the settlements. Really? Are you joking? Or you're acting like you don't know anything because you are making a peace deal with that. I understand everything. 2-3 weeks after the peace deal with the Emirates was signed, the government cleared one of the settlements to be established on the West Bank. I mean, the Old Testament, the New Testament, and the Quran and the Sunnah have told us, and history has told us, that Jews, they don't keep promises. They broke their covenants with Allah so many times until they were punished. And the idol worshipper Europeans came and expelled them from Palestine the year 70, 71 AD. They had no connection with Palestine until the 1900s, period. Nothing. Allah told us that these people, they don't keep a promise. And you're going there signing on behalf of my people, but their land, a peace deal, and then they promise that they're gonna not make settlements. They just announced another one, by the way, this week. And someone might say, well, October 7, Hamas doesn't exist in the West Bank. I know. I've been there many times. Hamas doesn't have popularity in the West Bank. And the deal wasn't about stop settlements unless Hamas attacks you in Gaza, then okay. No. So they broke. It's natural. it comes natural to the Jews to break the covenants with Allah. Allah said He created them, said it in the Quran. You know that. It's in the Old Testament. It's in the New Testament and history. So that's the peace deal that is going to benefit me on my behalf without consulting with me, that we made a peace deal, and if you don't accept my genius deal, then threats started coming from, they will expel Palestinians from whatever country or whatever that. It's my land, it's not yours. Now, you want to make a peace deal with Iran and tell them I'm giving up the 3 islands forever. It's your responsibility. It's the Muslim leader of a Muslim country. It's his responsibility to look for what is better for their people. And that's not the case I'm talking about here. So these 3 especially, and many others, attacking the Palestinians, why they refused to accept the peace deal that the Emirates made on their behalf. I didn't ask you to make a peace deal. Who do you think you are? Let me clear my throat. Let me clear my throat so you can hear the question clearly. Who do you think you are? In fact, some of the people, including the 3 or at least one of them, are saying that, those Salafis who, they claim they're Salafi, okay? Those Salafis, who are refusing the deal that the Emirates made with the Jews, they're Khawarij. Really? Khawarij. In what way? You see, look at the map. You see the distance between the Emirates and Palestine passes through which countries? Look up the map. They rule the Emirates. They don't rule the West Bank. They can't make a peace deal and force it on the people of another country and say, if you don't obey our leader, you're a Khawarij. What you're saying is a Khawarij, because who in the history of Islam said that if some leader in the East made a peace deal with another country in the West, far away, and that there are Muslims in those countries, they have to obey this guy who doesn't rule over them? You want to make a peace deal, make a peace deal. We are all going to meet Allah, and you prepare your justification for allowing the fruits that's stolen from our farms to be sold, and to try to force the people that since the leader opened all this, you have to buy. You have to buy. The stuff about boycotting, I don't believe in it, by the way. I never boycotting stuff, I don't believe. I think it is deficient at a minimum. Those who are doing it, thinking that it's good for Muslims, fine, but not to interfere in other countries and their decisions. It's not an easy thing to say, so you want the fruits that's stolen from my land to be sold in your platform. Eat it and say, Alhamdulillah, الذي أطعمنا هذا ورزقناه من غير حول منا ولا قوة. Come, family, eat from this fruit. This came from Janine, this came from Al-Khalil, this came from, suit yourself. But I don't have any reason to accept what you're saying or doing. The Palestinians in Palestine are under no obligation to obey the rulers of the Emirates or Oman or Bahrain, or even if Saudi decided to make a peace deal with the Jews or Morocco, to obey them. They don't rule them. They are being ruled, pretending by the Palestinian Authority, being ruled by the Jews. You don't own them. You don't own their land. You see? So make peace deals. I can't stop you. You're not even taking care of your own people by asking them, would you like us to make a peace deal with the Jews? They will find that 99% will tell them, absolutely not. Make a peace deal. You want to force it on me, and if I say, no, I don't accept it, I'm a Khawarij? No, you are the Khawarij. Because you're asking people who live under another kind of system to obey this system, because this system tried to make peace with that system. Does this make any sense? I mean, if the King of Morocco tomorrow decides to make a peace deal with India about Kashmir, and then tell the Kashmiris, hey, I made a peace deal, you obey me, or I'm going to go after every Kashmiri in Morocco and kick them out, I don't think Morocco will do that. I'm just giving you an example. So in this case, you made a peace deal with the Jews. I'll put it in your pocket here and keep showing it to the people. You can't force us to give up our land because you had some kind of calling to make peace with the Jews. You never fought the Jews. Bahrain, Emirat, many other countries, they never fought the Jews. So don't call it a peace deal. If you don't call it a peace deal, well, if you think it's better for your ummah, then that's another story. But to say that if I don't agree with it, I am a Khawarij and I live in another country, no, you're the Khawarij. One system here is trying to force another system here, the people in there, to follow them here, otherwise they're Khawarij. Are you crazy? You have to be crazy. Because it doesn't make any sense. And it is a Khawarij way, this way. Because you are calling these people, hey, you have to obey us here 2,000 miles away. Otherwise you're Khawarij. Let me end with this. It's very important. All these peace deals, Islam allows the leaders to make deals on behalf of their nations if they believe they are beneficial for their Muslims, for their Muslim population. We have no problem with that. In this case, are you telling me you don't really understand what the thing is about in Palestine? It's not like when Britain controlled Egypt and the Gulf countries, except for Saudi and other areas, and France, North Africa. It's not about that. It's not about it. Just telling me that I'm going to have the settlements stop in the West Bank tells me that you're a liar. Intentionally or out of ignorance. There's no way. What's the problem with the Jews and the Palestinians? The Jews were not in Palestine since the year 71 to the 1900s. You know, they come and say, this is our land. God promised it to the seed of Abraham. Forever. Forever. Really? Forever? Minus 18 centuries? That's not a promise. That's a promise you made. So they say this is our land. You don't exist. You don't belong here. And they are killing, driving people away. They are stealing because they believe Allah, God. The word God is not found in any religious book close to the time of Isa alayhi salam or before that. God, the word God is not found. Allah is found. So they're saying Allah gave us this land. Get out. And they're strong, not by themselves, because behind them is the collective strength of the West. Going to a little land with people who lived there for centuries since before the Bible was written by the Jews, and they want to kick them out. They don't recognize them, that they exist there. You see here, anyone who tells you otherwise is a stupid kadab, a liar. This is the thing. Those people are not interested in peace or any other peace or coexistence or any kind of accords with anybody, Abrahamic or whatever it is that they call. They want the land, they want you out. They killed, destroyed, stole, burned, because they believe God gave it to them and they have the strength today to do that. Are you telling me that when the Emirates made this deal with the Jews, there was a clause there that, and if you break it, you allow the settlers to come and do more settlements, the invaders, we're going to come and attack you, for example? How are you going to enforce this on the Jews? I'll tell you how. I saw one Jew, rabbi, I think it was, or whoever, in Al-Quds area, and he's saying, you know how big the Arabs are? This big. Do you see it? This big. Can you tell me that the Arabs are really bigger than this? To come and tell me that I'm going to make a peace deal with, they don't care about peace deal. They want the land. They want it. They want you out. They don't want you living there. And they will do anything and everything to take it from you. So it's not a matter of peace deal and maybe we'll wait 5 years and do. No. They want it now. They're strong now. They don't want to wait. And they have done it before. And they built hundreds of settlements in the West Bank. Their target is the West Bank, by the way. It's not Gaza. Gaza wasn't an important part of their historical Israel. The West Bank is, with Al-Quds. So how can you make peace with somebody who's saying, we'll negotiate you on behalf of, but this is ours. God gave it to us. Seed of Abraham. Don't ask me to do a DNA test to prove that I am from the seed of Abraham, because half of the Jews might be from somewhere else. Allah knows. But God gave it to us, seed of Abraham. And then you come and try to convince me, in the West Bank, I made a deal on your behalf. I'm not consulting with you. To do what? To do what? What is it? Are you going to stop the settlers? How? Did the settlers stop? No. Are they going to stop? No. Do they feel strong? Yeah. Do they feel the Arabs weak and divided? Yeah. What peace deal are you talking about? And they want the whole land. So what's going to happen to the Palestinian in the West Bank? I asked those people who claim to be Salafi. They're fake Salafi. Salafis always stand with the Muslims everywhere. Salafis will always be in Allah. True Salafi stands with the Muslims everywhere, from China all the way back to China. All Muslims everywhere. They claim to be Salafi. Okay, you're Salafi. So you have 3.5 million Palestinians in the West Bank alone. Leave Gaza now. Leave Gaza now. May Allah help them. The Arabs are watching them being slaughtered while having all kinds of music and singing and conferences and this and that. And the great leader met the ambassador of Zimbabwe and they exchanged whatever. And they said, being slaughtered. West Bank, you have 3.5 million Palestinians in the West Bank. Now, what are you offering them? The Jews will stop settlements? You're a liar. You're a kadab. Okay, let me have some good thought about you. You're stupid. Okay? Yeah. Quote me. Yeah. You think you're telling me you don't know what the real story is? That's the real story, people. That the settlements will stop. Okay. Then what? The Palestinians have no life in the West Bank. Economic, water, life. I mean, they have no life there. What's going to happen to them? 3.5 million be sitting there, and you're telling us that the settlers will stop going there just because the Emirates made a peace deal with the Jews. You have to be kidding. You have to be serious in this life, really. You have to be serious. That's not going to happen, because the story is not such. These two people have a little piece of land between them. They're like Britain left all these conflicts and everywhere they went between these countries. No, they say you don't exist. We want you out. We'll get you out, or we'll kill you. So those 3.5 million Palestinians who suffered this for over 100 years, okay, for over 100 years, been suffering this, Palestinians of Palestine. What are you telling them? What is the solution for them? You don't want to fight, we know that. You're angry about the Palestinian leadership. The Palestinian leadership, West Bank and Gaza, is lousy. Lousy. The people, we're worried about the people, the Muslims. We stand with the Muslims. The leadership is something else. They make bad mistakes. Have you lost your mind that you don't stand with the Muslims who suffered because of their leaders, because of somebody else? What does it matter? These are your Muslim brothers and sisters. If you really have a lively heart, a heart with life in it, we stand with the Muslims. So what are you going to tell those Palestinians? What was going to happen to them? 3.5 million. The Jews kept coming with weapons. They shoot with the army supporting them. They steal your land. You go to get some food for your family. You come back, you find a settler sitting in your house, and it's mine. See? Here's the title, signed here by Abraham. And they have been doing it with extreme viciousness, and they are far more strong than the Palestinians. Palestinians don't have weapons. So what's the deal you're talking about? You can't enforce it. And the Jews, are you serious? You think they're going to stop coming to the West Bank to steal and kill because the leader of the Emirates signed a piece of paper? You have to be serious. So these people who are trying to sell this deal, it's rejected. We don't want it. Make peace deals with your enemies around your land. You can't, because it's a matter of life or death. It's not a matter of, okay, maybe we can give a little piece, okay, stop fighting. No, they want the whole thing. They told you they want the whole thing. They tried to take the whole thing. They're still trying to do that by force, killing, burning, and you have nowhere else to go. This is the last point I want to make. I didn't want it to be this long, but this is really ridiculous. The last point. So let's suppose the Palestinians and the West Bank said, hey, the King of Bahrain, the Emir of, the Sultan of Oman, the President of the UAE, the King of Morocco made peace deals. Khalas. Let's, okay. So tomorrow, what's going to happen? The settlers will be sitting there saying, no, we can't go now. Khalas, we're done. Or they will keep coming. So what's going to happen to them? What are the options? Are these countries planning to take these Palestinians out of Palestine so that they tell them, hey, we're not going to fight. The settlers are coming. Forget about the peace deals. Obey us. Okay, take 3.5 million Palestinians, put them where? In Bahrain. Put them in the Emirates. Morocco will be happy to take. But where are we going to put them? Are they going to accept them? I have a better idea even. A better implausible idea that actually Jordan, Syria today they will. Alhamdulillah. Allah took it from the enemies of Islam, the cousins of the Jews, the Shia. Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt, they're going to say, hey, come to us. Come live with us. We heard this before. Yeah. 1948, the war. Come to us. Because we'll send in the army. We're still waiting for the armies. They never came. Are these countries, like Jordan, for example, is going to accept 3.5 million Palestinians? Are you crazy? You must be really living in another world. Or you're going to sign a paper and tell the Palestinians, مع السلامة, you deal with it. And if you disagree with me, you're a Khawarij, and I'll kick your family out from my country because you disagreed with me. Where is the solution for Palestine and those peace deals from Sadat until today? Where? The Jews say the land is theirs. God gave it to them. Allah gave it to them. Hebrew doesn't have the word God in it, or Aramaic. They say this is our land, and now they have the means, the intent, and the opportunity to do this. Who's standing between them and taking over the West Bank? 3.5 million Palestinians. The people of Gaza, who cares about them today, right? Wallah, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night saying to myself, if I wanted water, I can just walk a couple of feet away, take anything I want from the fridge. Those people in Gaza, what happened to them? What's happening to them? The world is seeing it, the Arabs and Muslims. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame and shame and shame and shame on you. You will meet Allah. And if you think you can come up with these things, that you betrayed Al-Quds, all of you together. If you think you can come with these excuses and it's going to work with Allah, suit yourself. But this is really... So the Emirates, you made a deal with the Jews. The leaders there, we don't call for rebellion. It's their responsibility. They will meet Allah. I'm quite sure. Just as I'm quite sure everybody else will meet Allah, including myself. But you can't force it on the Palestinians, threaten them if they don't accept it, because to them, they understand, and you also understand, the leaders of the Arabs and Muslims, everywhere. You understand very well. It's not about a border dispute between a country here, little few feet here, few feet there. Thanks to the Brits and thanks to the French, the Francos, they want the whole thing, and you don't exist. And they think they are fulfilling the commandment of God to come and take it from you and kill you, destroy you, burn. And they're doing it every day. Who's going to stop them? Egypt is going to stop them? They can't. Well, somebody might say, well, now you're not going to be able to travel to Arab countries. Maybe I'll end up going from town to town in America wearing this. I've been wearing since I came to America. 45 years in Europe, wearing this. And just, say, follow the Quran, follow the Sunnah in America until I meet Allah. They told Imam al-Albani, rahimahullah, my sheikh, that, they stopped you from going to Hajj after you disagreed with their fatwa to bring the Americans and all kind of kuffar to defeat Saddam Hussein in Kuwait. He said, well, I was planning to go to Hajj. He did I think 30 Hajj or more. I was planning to go to Hajj, but since it came from you, alhamdulillah, I was feeling old and tired. It came from you, not from me. But you need somebody to tell you the truth. You can be with Muslims who are being killed, oppressed everywhere in the world, even though maybe what happened to them is because of their leaders. You can separate the issues. Okay? I stand with Muslims everywhere. Now, how did that happen? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. For me, I am a Salafi. I follow the way of a Salaf al-Salih. I love all Muslims. I've been working for 4.5 decades to promote the Quran and Sunnah among Muslims in the West. Why? Because I like them. Because they're my brothers and sisters. The more we have people who really follow the Quran and Sunnah, the better. For me personally, for everyone else. Summary, conclusion. Even though the leadership of Muslim countries have the authority to establish peace deals with whoever, that doesn't mean that the peace deal is accurate, correct. It doesn't mean that you have to like it. That doesn't mean that you call to rebel against it, because we're against rebellion. We can't separate these issues because, walillah alhamd, our brain is not one track. No. We can do all these and still be in conformity with the Quran and Sunnah and the way of Salaf al-Salih. We hate rebellion. We don't like rebellion. We don't like that Muslims do in fighting more than what they already have done. It's really bad. Or divisions. But you can't come and force on us ideas. Otherwise, if you're not obeying the rulers, you obey your ruler. He's your ruler, it's not mine. I'm quite sure. I traveled to 20 plus countries before I got married. I was made to know in every country that you're not welcome here. You're Palestinian. Look, I don't care. I follow the way of the Quran and the Sunnah because it always brought us victories. What people are doing today, we can't handle more victories. More victories than this, it's tough. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us knowledge in the religion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless me and my family to produce more than 70 books so far. You see some of them behind me. Couldn't put all of them here. Including a half of Tafsir ibn Kathir, 2 volumes of Tafsir Sa'di, Zad al-Ma'ad, and many other books. Don't forget this book, Biography and Mission, Muhammad Abualrub, 600 page, and this one, Holy Wars, Crusades, Jihad, the 3rd edition, 400 pages, so many topics. Read it. Islamlife.com. You'll also find Biography and Mission, Muhammad Abualrub, 600 pages, 1,500 plus footnotes, 300 resources. I'll get it, inshallah. And when I started calling to the Quran and Sunnah in public and the way of Salaf al-Salih, I used to before that, but in public, more than 4.5 decades ago, I decided that this neck, I'll only lower it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.